Hey guys, welcome back. I have with us today the head honcho, the boss, the man himself, Shawn O'Neil. How are you doing today? Give everyone a warm welcome introduction. I'm sure they already know you, but
Yeah, man, I gotta tell you, it's awesome. We just celebrated the 4th of July, so was able to connect with some friends and really just happy and blessed, and really kind of excited to share this life that I'm kind of living, because this right here, what I'm doing right now, was my plan from the very beginning, and to be there now, to actually be able to do it, I want to share that, man. So it's awesome.
wow, man, I'm super glad that you're able to share that. So we have a lot of juicy things to get into today. I'm going to make this really good. All right, so give us what fortitude is. So a lot of people have been giving themselves like their business, right? But it's your business that they're really kind of integrated in. So what is fortitude?
So I want to step back one step, because what I teach at Fortitude is a system called Core 4. Okay. This is used by many different coaching organizations out there. But what I realize is, being in all of these different programs, is, they give you the information and people either do it or they don't do it, right? The missing component to all of that is the strength of mind. It's the mental discipline to do these things. So quite honestly, Fortitude was born of that concept. Fortitude actually stands for strength of mind, right? So what I teach, all the different systems I teach, the missing piece, the glue that puts it all together, is mindset, right? Because mindset is everything. I tell them, once you win the war in your mind, everything is possible. You can live that disciplined life where you train your body multiple times a day, and you eat those high quality foods, and you train on a nutrition plan. You have a budget, and you have a life plan. You have a relationship plan. You have these things in place. So if you have these things in place and you're doing them, that's actually what fortitude is. It's the action, right? So we talk about our core values: leadership, excellence, accountability, and discipline. What that means is you lead by example, right? You do those things, right? Excellence. If it can be done right, if it can be done, do it right. And if it can be done better, be the one to do it, right? Accountability is the piece. And that's what I really teach people here. We all know that we need to consume less calories, or we need to spend less money, right? We all know this. It's not like this isn't secret sauce here. Mm-hmm. What it is we don't want to tell that one person, hey, I know I committed to cutting $300 a month and spending this month, but I didn't do it, right? No one wants to talk about that. So what we do at Fortitude is we give them the accountability, right? Mm-hmm. We show them through leadership how it's done, because we do it, right? We show them how to do it the right way, because we only use systems that work, right? That provide real results. And then we hold them accountable to those things. And lastly, discipline is the daily things we need to do to propel us further in life, the daily disciplines, right? It is the set of rules we live by daily to move us down the road towards that ultimate objective, which is that life by design.
That is absolutely beautiful. And I think people are you're offering an amazing thing. Now, I have a question. You talked about fortitude being the strengthening of your mind, right? So you had to take your own particular path to strengthen your mind. Give people a small insight on the path you took to strengthen your mind.
Yeah, so I want to make sure that you can hear me here, and you're not glitching. So I was, had a really good start to my career. I was a successful mortgage originator, had multiple properties, I had multiple businesses, met a woman, became my wife and child. And, after the financial crisis, I was broken. And, I kind of went off to war to kind of hide from all that stuff. And I came back even worse, truthfully. And so about 4 years ago, I hit my rock bottom point, literally homeless, suicidal, alcoholic, literally just a waste of space in life. And I had a rock bottom event, ended me up in the VA. And when I was kind of gathering some of my belongings and cleaning some stuff up, some old belongings I had, I found my old life plan. And I started reading it. And I started to bawl, because I went so far off course in my life. And I realized that it's a formula, it's a process, right? You just do these things every day, and it takes care of itself. So what I did was I focused on the things that I could control. And I started to surround myself with people who were in my position, who had bettered themselves, right? So I could learn from them. And as I began to do that, I started to weed out the toxic people in my life, the drama, started to shed those shackles. And when I thought I was doing good, man, when I really thought I was doing good, I took an assessment of my life. And I realized that, yeah, I wasn't in the gutter anymore, but man, I wasn't where I wanted to be. So my catalyst was the 75 Hard program, because, I saw all the pictures about people going from fatties to abs. Didn't interest me. But when I heard the stories about people transforming their entire mindset to, going from being, procrastinating, lazy people to being taskmasters and blowing through lists and doing things and being action oriented, I was like, I'm good, but I need to get better. And so I went down this program, I went down this road, and I called it my freedom, it was my freedom journey, right? I even had a freedom day, which was when I was going to finish this program. And what happens is there's a correlation between doing these daily disciplines every single day, because what it is, it's a micro win. You get that little win, your brain's going, oh, that's good. Here's some serotonin, here's some dopamine, all these happy drugs, right? So you start feeling good about yourself, right? And all of a sudden, your posture changes, your words change. You start doing these daily affirmations. Next thing you know, man, you got momentum, right? You're starting to feel good. You're starting to look good. You're starting to get better confidence. Opportunities are starting to happen. Your energy is better, right? And most of all, when I talk about mindset, your mindset changes, right? There's a line. Below that line, we talk about excuses, blame, denial, right? There's not enough time. He did it, she did it, my ex-wife, my kids, right? Above that line, we talk about things like ownership. We talk about things like accountability and responsibility. And what does that look like? When I realized that my life was completely trash, right? I was divorced, bad situation with my kids, financially I was a mess. I'd let myself go to the point where I was homeless and disabled and all that nonsense, right? When you get to that point, you're a broken man. There's only one way to go, right? So by utilizing this system and going through this program and then getting that strength of mind, man, so what's happened, right? So I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm happiest I've ever been. I have positive relationships. I'm surrounded by people who actually care for me, right? They don't just say, they follow through, right? I'm able to pour into them. They're able to pour into me. It's actually healthy. It's actually healthy, and I have a real vision for my life. I live on a budget. I have businesses, anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. It just takes action. And that's what I want to show people in my coaching program, man. Like, this isn't for profit. It's $44 a month. Like, you can go to the movies one time and spend more money, right? This is to invest in your life, like, no kidding. Like, if you just do the work. And here's the thing, I do it every day. Like, this has become who I am. And so, like, the proof is in the pudding, and I show other people, right? So, man, it all trickles back to that mindset. Whatever it's going to take, whether it's 75 hard, which works for me, or something else, but really what it boils down to is habits and consistency and doing it, right? So that's what I encourage people to do. Whatever their system is, fine, but I know mine works, right? Because I've done it, I've helped other people do it, and I have the testimonials, I have hundreds of them. So, like, the reality is this works. Mm-hmm. Core 4 works. Implementing daily disciplines works, right? Being consistent works. Having a meal plan works. Going to the gym works. Moving your body works. Having a budget works. Like, this stuff works. So that we do a little bit, we pour into each one of those little pillars, man. That's what we do every day. It's that simple. It's that simple.
Wow, man. You keep it intense and simple, and I love the energy. Now, something I want to get in deep. Now, we don't usually do this with a lot of the other interviews, but I'm going to ask us like an off question. Now, you in this teaching, say, these other programs, right? You're teaching a lot of people what worked for you. What do you want people to learn from you outside of teaching the 75 hard in other people's programs? You can say make your own kind of core kind of teaching experience program, if you will. What would you say, and kind of blend it into what people are going to learn this coming Thursday in your session? What do you want people to take away and learn from you?
So this Thursday, I'm actually going to use one of my original life plans I created when I was with Building Champs. I learned this system, and I'm going to share my personal vision board, right? That I created over a year, right? To show the visualization process that actually goes into a plan that you chunk down and execute, right? What I'm going to show people is like the behind the scenes, where the rubber actually hits the road. Like, this isn't just like theory, right? I'll show you my stuff. Like, I'll show you how I wrote down goals. I'll show you how I chunked that down, and I'll give people those tools, right? I mean, I paid 30 grand for it. I'm going to give it away on a call. Like, no kidding. Why? Because, like, listen, man, I want to see everybody win. I want to see everybody win. And if I have some answers that can help, like, go ahead. Like, they're like, it doesn't matter to me. I just want people to win. That's why I'm sharing this stuff.
Wow. Like, giving away so much, especially for so little at that. As you said, like, more money one time at the movies to better your life at that, to make that investment.
Yeah, I know. You know what I'm on calls with like providers and marketing companies that are screaming at me, telling me like how stupid I am for doing this. And I tell them it's very simple, guys. I'm doing this for passion, not for profit, right? Like, what honestly, and forgive me for all the other coaches out there, what I don't like about the coaching industry is it's about selling coaching. I hate that. What I'm about is creating results, man. Like, I don't give a shit how much coaching you sell. Like, that doesn't matter. Are you actually taking somebody in your hands, right? That responsibility we talked about, and moving them forward, right? My win is not accepting a payment for something. My win is taking that person and moving them to a goal, right? Or helping them change their life, or really having a massive impact. That right there is what matters. So I know people talk about price. I know I can make so much more money doing this stuff, but honestly, for me, Angelo, when people catch on to this and they learn this, I just want it to be infectious. Just like me, once you figure this stuff out, and once you're like, oh my God, like, I want everybody to know, like, this actually works. Because you'll tell people, and those people do that, man. And here's the thing, I can't change the world. You can't change the world, right? But collectively, if we learn how to communicate better, right? Which is one of the things we do. We learn how to have better relationships, whether that's, you know, with our significant other or with teammates or whatever, man, we can just have that little bit of impact, right? So if I can move the needle a little bit, or man, Angelo, you can move the needle a little bit, but together, man, we can move it a little bit more. Kind of worth it, isn't it? Then the money doesn't really matter, does it?
It doesn't, because you're being progressive. You're contributing, if you will, being a functioning contributor.
Impact.
Okay, so before we have to get you out of here and everything, I actually want to ask you something else, right? We have this coaching session coming up tomorrow. People are going to learn a lot. Is there anything that you feel that people should focus on in this meeting? You're going to say a lot of things, and it's going to be super intense for a lot of people, and not everything may come across or make. Is there something that you want to corely focus on that you want people to really look for tomorrow when you're giving your presentation?
I'm going to show people a tool, right? Everybody's journey is individualistic, right? You have to be intentional about your own journey. So what I don't want people to do is get too focused on exactly what I did or get focused on my story. What I want them to do is take away that there is a basic process and there's a basic system to this stuff, because I want to give them the tools, right? So that they can be the author of their own book, man, right? I don't want to be the co-author, right? I want to show, give them the tools, right? So they can go out there and create a beautiful life, man. So focus on the system, focus on the process, and take that and visualize your own life where you truly want to be. And honestly, as they say, right, if your goal isn't big enough where, you know, you make other people laugh and you scare yourself, it's not big enough, then is it, right? And the truth is, if you aim high, right, if you aim really, really high and you miss, man, you're still a lot better than if you aim low and hit the target, right? So, like, go ahead. Like, when you're being impeccable with yourself, be truthful with what you really think you know what you want your life to be, right? So think about it, know it, visualize it, be confident about it, and then once you put that to paper, what happens, man, is your brain starts figuring out how to do it. It becomes a problem, and it's subconscious, right? There's different brain waves that happen. You can't even help the fact you can start solving your own problems. It's an awesome thing. So what I'm going to teach people, visualize it. We call it the ahead to dead. It's pretty morbid shit, man, but we focus on the end, really. And then just like any other trip, we plan it backwards.
Now, I have personal questions. I'm going to do a little takeover. You mentioned impact. Who do you feel has impacted you most along your journey?
Oh man, so here's the thing. I'm an introvert, right? So I do, like, I'm not a classroom guy, but like I will nerd out in the middle of the night with candles and books, and I'll write. I mean, when I learn, man, I destroy a book, I listen to it, I take notes. I have journals full of stuff, right? Because I learn. The first guy that really impacted me, like literally changed my life, like smacked me around 17 ways from sideways, was John C. Maxwell, right? He's the leadership guru, best-selling author, and his book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. I read that book and I'm like, wait a minute, so that's how it's supposed to be done, right? So what I did is I started to apply all of those characteristics and those laws to every single person that was in a leadership role above me. I gotta tell you, reading that as a young man made me almost, oh boy, I was a sand in the ointment for any leader that you know was a poor leader, man. Because I was gonna call your ass out. And honestly, like, that's the thing, when you have the responsibility, right, of taking people and moving them in a direction, man, you better have you better be dialed in. So for me, I've always been a critic of bad leaders, and I've always strived to learn. And again, from a young man that I was at 20 years old, smashing phones in a mortgage office, completely embarrassed just thinking about that young man, to now how I'm able to have good conversations and go deep with almost any person, right? And understand no matter what our differences are. So the evolution that I've experienced is because of this system. And honestly, it all goes together. So when you start filling all these other buckets, man, it all just kind of elevates, right? All just goes together.
Wow. Now, I'm lucky enough to be somewhat a part of that journey. And so I'd like to selfishly ask, you mentioned aiming extremely high for goals. What do you have in mind for goals? What are you thinking of right now? What are you currently plotting on?
Okay. So no one knows about this. Yeah. So the reason I'm in Florida is I came down here to work for a private equity firm. And they had asked me to start a hedge fund. So I went out there and recruited a few traders, went out there and we raised a shit ton of capital. And we are in our trial period right now, testing our, real performa. It's back tested 9 months, it's solid. So a couple million under management, I think, right now, that we're working on. So real hush right now. So by the end of the year, we're going to move operations to St. Kitts and Nevis. So man, to tell you the truth, my entire life, I always thought I was a little bit different, and I'm coming to believe that I am. So for me, the number is $1 billion. So I'm going for $1 billion valuation in this private equity firm. And it isn't for me, it isn't about the money. It's about the scoreboard, right? It's about like Jordan going for his 6th title, right? His 6th ring. For me, this is a lifetime of getting a lot of other people really, really wealthy. And this is going to happen now, man. A lot of people are going to get really, really, really wealthy because our model works. It's really beautiful. And so now, finally believing in myself, man. Finally, I wrote this down. I actually wrote a vision. I actually wrote on my vision board for my own personal corporation. I wrote that I want to be the first, $1 billion family valuation. And when I wrote that, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know how I was going to do it. I mean, a bunch of different things, but that's a big number. That's a scalable number. That's a real number, right? Mm-hmm. Now, in every single model that we run, I know it's possible. I know it's possible. Now I know it. I know it can be done. Why? Because other people are doing it. And the same thing I've done in every other career that I've ever been is I just copy what the most successful people in that industry are doing. So it's no different now. I did the same thing. I went out and copied what traders do. I found the best traders. I found out what the best hedge fund managers are doing. I literally plagiarized their shit. I came back, I put it in front of the partners. I said, here's the strategy, guys. And they go, let's go. And man, that's what happened. So the big goal is to be, man, $1 billion in valuation, you know. There's a lot of hedge fund managers did in a very quick period of time, but I'm shooting for a decade. So that's the answer, man. And it's not about the money. Because if anybody knows me, like no bullshit, if anybody knows me, I'm a frugal, I'm a nomad, I'm a minimalistic. I got a 3-bedroom apartment here, 3-bedroom condo. Here's what my total furniture consists of. I have 3 stools at my my center island. I have 2 reading chairs, which I just got, and I have a queen size air mattress and nothing else in the house, right? So because I don't need stuff, man, it's not about the money. It's about finally maybe some respect, right? People who've made fun of me my whole life. For me, maybe it's about finally doing what I knew I could always do. But yeah, man, it makes me sick to my stomach to say that because a lot of people are gonna laugh at me. But you know what, man? So over the last couple of years, when I started this journey, a lot of people laughed at me, even family. I'd get messages like, "You're embarrassing yourself. Shut your mouth." You know. My family even told me, "Put your shirt on." Like, no one wants to see that. You know, like it went on, and I had to like remove a lot of family members out of my life, and that's some painful shit, man. That's some painful shit. So now I legitimately have a path. And not so many people are laughing anymore, man, because I've accomplished a lot of stuff in the last few years, a lot of stuff. And I launched a hedge fund in under a month. So,
wow.
Spike that football, man. You know,
That is a lot.
And again, I'm being super quiet about it right now because honestly, this one, I don't even give a shit if anybody knows. I don't even care anymore because it does not matter. Like this one was for me. This is a private fund, man. I'm gonna rip our froth and throw it in a REIT. You know, man, this is gonna be a good long-term wealth strategy inside a couple of trusts, man. And I finally, after a lifetime of education, be able to put all that shit together. And I finally found some partners that believed in me. And I've surrounded myself with an amazing team. Like my trading team is amazing. So this one, you asked, that's the only reason I'm saying I haven't put this shit out anywhere. So I don't think anybody's going to watch this far into the video anyway, man. So, but the truth is, I'm going for the big one.
Wow.
So if I miss high, man, I don't know what, you tell me.
Listen, that's unbelievable. I'm excited and happy to be able to even see that growth. All right. So capsize us out. Where can we find you on social media? Where can we find you everywhere?
So I got a couple domains. My name, ShawnCOneil.com is pretty easy. Sarasota Shawn, because now I love the weather. I'm down here. So you can find me there. Of course, Shawn C. O'Neil on my social media profiles, and I'm linked everywhere. So, and of course, you can always find my other profiles out there too, HarleyDaddyBlack.com, and see me out there as well. So good life, good times, life by design, living the dream, being impeccable with my truth and being completely comfortable in my own skin. And it's finally nice to, at 43 years old, to be able to breathe and look at yourself in the mirror with some respect.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. And we thank you so much for being able to join us today. So we're going to close out and have a wonderful day.